Once again, I welcome all of you to online lecture sessions 2000. Here we are taking block 8 lesson plan. Today we are starting a very inspirational story. Actually, it is an autobiography. My 13th Winter, a memoir by Samantha Abil. Okay, so here memoir is nothing but an autobiography, a self story written by a person himself or herself. Okay, so here we are going to see how Samantha faced some of the difficulties when she was taking education, her problems like maths and grammar, and how she overcome to all these problems that we are going to see in this particular story by 13th Winter, a memoir by Samantha Abil. So, Samantha Abil could not tell time, remember her locker combination, or count out change at a checkout counter, and she was in 7th grade. Samantha, at that time, she was in 7th grade, but due to the difficulty in maths, okay, she was facing problem like she was unable to tell time, remember her locker combination, and to count or change at a checkout counter. Okay, though she was in 7th grade. For a student like Samantha, problems like these made no sense. But though she had difficulty regarding the grammar and mathematics, she was very different. She was a very talented girl. She began having anxiety attacks, losing sleep, distancing herself from friends, but in her 13th winter, she began to change. Okay, though she was facing many problems like anxiety attacks, losing sleep, and she was distancing herself from friends. She was keeping away herself from friends. But in her 13th winter, she began to change. She found the courage to confront her problems and was diagnosed with a maths related learning disability. So, when some of the people, her parents, find out the problem that she is having a maths related learning disability, means there were few things in maths she was unable to do, and hence her confidence level was decreasing day by day. Slowly, Samantha's life began to change again. She discovered that she was stronger than she had ever thought possible, and that sometimes when things look the bleakest, hope is closer than you think. Bleakest means without hope. Bleakest means without hope. When you don't have hope for that particular thing, actually the hope is closer than you think. Only thing is that you need to just keep walking, keep trying. Okay, you need to just go, and that thing will come to you ultimately. Given below is an excerpt from Samantha's. Excerpt means some of the paragraphs. Okay, not all. Okay, short portion of the autobiography. Okay, my 13th winter, a memoir. Okay, a collaboration. At the end of my 7th grade year, I was collapsing on the inside. Luckily, my 7th grade writing class became my life preserver. It was the one thing that got me through the anxiety and fear that plagued me. No matter what I couldn't do, I could write. Though she was having many problems, she was a very good writer. And that was the thing which was making her to just keep move on. I found an identity in that skill and clung to it. Clung means to hold, to keep it continue. I told myself again and again that I was special, that I was different, and my ability to write was proof. And she was just trying to tell herself, I'm very different, I'm very special because I can write well. I can Right? Well, Mrs. Williams, my seventh grade writing teacher, was instrumental, means a very important key person in making her class a place where I could grow. So, Mrs. Williams, one of her teacher, was very important in Samantha's life. It was her attention and her willingness to overlook my spelling and grammar mistakes for the real content and ideas in my writing that made a lasting difference for me. Though I used to make grammar mistakes and I used to write something wrong, some wrong spelling, but my teacher never shown me the mistakes, but she just keep inspiring me for my writing content, for my writing ideas. Here was evidence that I was important, that I had value. Hearing this from an adult other than my parents was extremely significant. Significant means very important to me, especially at a time when I could hardly face getting out of bed and going to school. So my life was changing very slowly, but yes, surely. Sam, you are poet. You just don't realize it. Watch and I'll show you. So Mrs. Williams used to say Sam to Samantha, you are poet. You just don't realize it. Watch and I'll show you. Picks up her red felt tip pen and begins to make slash lines at what seem like random points in the sentences of the descriptive paragraph I handed her. So I had written something, Samantha is saying, and I used to just give it to my teacher for reading. So she took her red pen and started making slash lines. Okay, cross lines she started making so that she can just pick up the lines which can be turned into a poetry. There she says, finishing. Now go rewrite this and begin a new line whenever I have made a mark. Then bring it back and we'll look it over together. And what she used to tell her, now you just go rewrite this and begin a new line whenever wherever I have made a mark. Means you have to just add a line, because she was just making her, or she was just pushing her to improve her imagination and creativity, because she had good writing skill. I return to my desk and pull out a blank sheet of lined paper from my notebook. I begin to do as she asked, rewriting the paragraph line by line until my words form a narrow column down the page. I'm sure I had poetry, at least can't ever see. As William's teacher was my favorite one, I started just following her. Otherwise, poetry was something I used to hate. Myself writing it, all of it seems obscure. Obscure means which is not clear. Okay, blur and difficult to understand, or smarmy and all about love, and it all seems to rhyme. So when I started writing, it was just rhyming. I can't imagine writing poetry. I mean, really writing it. However, Mrs. Williams thinks I can. That I already do, and she can't be wrong. Not about something like this, but I'm still not convinced. But at the same time, I was thinking, since Mrs. William has observed something, that's why she is continuously giving me feedback and making me to make changes in my lines. Though I was not convinced I can write good poems. English is my favorite class of the day. All day I look forward to the challenge. I don't just pass or egg by here. I excel. I rarely feel anxious or inadequately, means which is not sufficient, except perhaps socially. Here, there aren't any numbers. Here, my teacher has a soft spoken voice, rich with feelings, sincere. She listens and she believes that I have a special gift with words. My life was really changing. Samantha is saying my life was really changing in seventh grade. It's because of the teacher, the trust she had shown on me. She was just encouraging me every now and then, and she believes that I have a special gift with words, means I can write good things. I'm quiet in class. Rarely do I share or speak at all unless it is to answer a direct question or during one-on-one time with Mrs. Williams or another student. But she meets me halfway. Here, my individuality is validated. Okay, though I wasn't an outspoken person or a student in the class. Okay, means I wasn't that free in the class with all my friends. I was introvert type of person, but still my teacher had validated that yes, I'm a very different and a smart student. Here other students admire my abilities even though I'm still quiet and studious and keep to myself. Okay, so though I was studious and I never speak with my friends except I have some important work, though I was favorite among all of them. The column of words is complete and I take it uncertainly up to Mrs. Williams' desk. She reads it quietly out loud. She reads it quietly out loud. This is a poem, Sam. I smiled despite myself pleased, proud, but still disbelieving. Though my teacher was very happy with my writing skill when I shown her the written poem. The teacher said very happily, "This is a poem, Sam." But I wasn't believing myself that I can write good things. Really, you mean everything I have been doing so far can be turned into a poem just by changing the way it looks on a page? So it was unbelievable for me that whatever I write or whatever I think can be turned into a poem. Not everything, but sections or paragraphs where you use imagery to describe scenes or thoughts and feelings that can be poetry. So she said, not everything, but sections or paragraphs where you can use imagination to describe scenes or thoughts and feelings. Those things can be changed into poetry. I let this new revelation wash over me, sink in. Poetry doesn't have to rhyme. So I was having a question that every time rhyming words are necessary. It doesn't have to be about love or anything like it. Poetry is a concise way to express feelings or describe the world around you. So poetry has nothing to do all the time with rhyming and all, but it is all about to express feelings or describe the world around you in a concise, means in short words. I'm surprised by the idea. I reluctantly believe her. I quickly believe her. What I write to write is poetry already. Okay. Even though Mrs. Williams' support was invaluable, I was still a seventh grader, deeply in trouble. I continued seeing the therapist, and mom eagerly encouraged me to practice her techniques. Though I was getting better and better in terms of writing skills, but still I was having some problem. So my mother also took me to a therapist. But no matter how hard I tried, no island ever appeared. Session after session, I worked to elude her. Session after session, I worked to elude her. Elude means to avoid. Okay, to avoid or escape. To keep her thinking that I was a creative, smart, funny child. I wanted her to like me. Of course, I didn't really know what was wrong. I just tried myself to not to go there because I had completed many sessions of therapy, but there wasn't any change. She had given me a name to call my episodes of anxiety, panic attacks, but why they happen never became clear. Okay, My therapist had told me that all this happening is because of panic attacks, but she never told me why it is happening, what is the reason. In fact, the failure of this counseling experience left me feeling more hopeless than before. The panic attacks continued, and anxiety still ruled my life. However, to my parents and counselor, I pretended that there was some improvement. But my parents and counselor were just means they were just confident about me, so I also pretend just show up them that yes, there is some change. I didn't want them to think that all their hard work was in vain. When was in vain means wasted. So I just wanted to show them that whatever hard work they are doing to improve me is not in vain. I knew how badly they wanted me to get better. The difficulty with math and grammar continued. My parents bore witness to my struggles to complete math homework or correct grammar and spelling in my written pieces. Worried and concerned, they requested to have me evaluated again for a possible learning disability or to determine if I was at least 2 years delayed in my understanding of math so that I might qualify for special services through the school. So my parents were struggling completely that I have problem regarding maths and grammar as well as spellings. Okay, so they just want to help me in every possible manner so that I can just overcome, I can just correct myself or improve these areas. The school resisted, citing my high grades in social studies and English classes and my average grades in science. They pointed out that I wasn't a behavior problem. In fact, I appeared to be well respected by peers and was well liked by my teachers. Peers means the classmates, okay, same age students or a friends, okay. So my school thought I don't have any such problem because I had a good marks in social studies and English as well, but not in science. Okay, but it's okay. I often went above and beyond in my completion of class projects and attended and showed aptitude in my choir, art, and home economic classes. So altogether, I was good student in each and every subject except two areas, the areas where maths and English grammar. They couldn't understand how a good student like me could possibly qualify for special education services. Nevertheless, they finally agreed to test me again. They wanted me to pass one exam that was special education services. I was tested in March of my 7th grade year. The questions on this standardized key math test range from how many nostrils I had to how many quarts were in gallon. Okay, so once again I was tested in March. At that time I was in 7th grade year. Okay, so questions were many like how many nostrils I had or how many quarts were in gallon. The outcome was confusing. The evaluator's findings stated that my ability to process and manipulate mathematical mathematical manipulate means what to handle or to operate mathematical operations and concept was at mastery level. However, according to the test, that were 16 basic math skills that I had not yet mastered. So what they were saying, I'm good at mathematics, but yet I have not completed or mastered some 16 basic maths skills. In the summary and recommendations means suggestions section following this list of unmastered skills, the evaluator stated the evaluator, one who had checked me for my mathematical problem, he had mentioned some 16 unmastered skills. Samantha's ability to perform in the regular math class is sufficient when given support. And what he had said, when there is somebody with her to understand her, to make her understand, she can do well. Several areas need to be developed further to assist Samantha with compensation skills. Okay, so there must be somebody to just help her, okay, or to make her understand that particular step, and she is able to do everything by herself. The evaluator suggested that the school provide repeated practice sessions with focus on using compensation strategies rather than learning new material. Okay, these results were puzzling and contradictory. Contradictory means completely different. Okay, they were not matching each other. First, how could I be considered to have a mastery level understanding of math when I had not mastered 16 fundamental objectives on the test? So there were few questions in my mind. They were saying I'm master in mathematics, but how can I be called as master in mathematics since I have not got or completed the 16 fundamental levels or 16 fundamental basic skills of maths. Many of these skills, such as having a sense of the value of coins or being able to estimate the length of an object, are basic stepping stones in the understanding of math. As we know that there were many basic skills, the like value of coins or estimate the length of an object. Okay, these are really important. Virtually all of these unmastered skills would be necessary to perform the task required in a regular algebra class, the same algebra class I was currently failing. So there were many basic things I was lacking. Still, the evaluators were saying it is possible for her to solve each and everything with the help of somebody. Okay, though she had not mastered some 16 basic skills. Second, how could I stay in my algebra class as the summary suggested and yet do as the results also recommended practice using compensating strategies on the old material rather than learn new material. Okay, so second thing was that how could I stay in my algebra class? Because the summary had suggested yet to do as the results also recommended practice using compensating strategies on the old material rather than learn new material. Okay, so how could I be expected to participate in a regular math class, ignore the new material being presented, and instead spend my time reviewing techniques so I could learn the concepts I was supposed to do be ignoring? I don't know. So the things which actually I was supposed to do, which I wasn't doing. Okay. Over the years, my parents had done everything the school had suggested. My parents had done every possible for thing for me which my school had suggested. They had my eyes tested and bought me glasses in third grade. In third grade, they had tested my eyes and they had brought a spectacle for me. When it was determined that I had a slight problem with fine motor skills, at that time it was determined that I had a slight problem with fine motor skills. No matter how hard I worked or how often I sought help, I was failing my algebra class. The conflicting results and interpretations by the professionals of the key math test broke whatever little faith my parents still had in the system. They realized that they were going to have to take matters into their hands to get me the help that I needed. So the professionals now they had decided they'll provide the help, whatever help required to Samantha to improve her in mathematical. So today we have completed some of the portion of the lesson. Next time we are going to complete the remaining part of the lesson. Until then you have to complete homework, that is workbook block number 8, that is activity S1 and S2. Until then, Thank you so much. In case of any doubt and difficulty, please let me know via WhatsApp or by calling me. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much.